I'm out here seeing things at the original Berlin Wall, the medieval wall. This is the only section of it that I know of. There may be another tiny one here or there, but this is the main one, and it's pretty close to the center of town, Mitte. And it's pretty small. It's a little park, and if you look at it, it's obviously been restored. I mean, it's damaged from time, but also war probably. Who knows what this looked like before the war. But you can see all this brick that is much newer than this stone foundation. But maybe some of this brick is old, like 1500s old as well. A little hard to tell. But for sure, the stone parts are original. It's just such a kind of a mishmash over here. But it's not too big, and it's behind a church that has a very small Friedhof cemetery that I will check out. But first, let's just explore what there is of this wall. There's a cool old restaurant here, also obviously heavily restored, but still pretty cool. Here we see the wall of the cemetery and the steeple of the church, which, I don't know, it's not much of a functioning church. They had a gallery exhibit there last year. One of these temporary fake museums that comes to town with reprints of paintings and kind of a projection, not quite a laser show, a little bit, but more of a projection onto these paintings telling the history. That's kind of a thing now, this temporary museum. Seems like there's no rules about, if you call yourself a museum, what that constitutes. And that kind of all started, I think, with that immersive Van Gogh exhibit, and now you can see these sort of seasonal museums that travel and pop up everywhere. But here we are at the back of the old restaurant building, and I'll come around to that, but it sort of abuts the old wall. I mean, this is old looking brick here for sure, but there's a little plaque, and we'll go check that out. Of course, it's going to all be in German. But here's the patio for the restaurant, so they're not open right now, or if they are, the patio's not. I've never eaten here. It would be kind of cool just to get a beer. But we'll come around to that in a minute. This is near the Klosterstrasse underground stop. And here's this other little lone section here, which is pretty cool looking. So, of course, people talk about the Berlin Wall, they think of the one from the Cold War. But this is the original medieval wall. 1250. Erected in 1250. 1M14, not sure what that is. Let's just see. And something about 1680. And something about 1924, and then 1963 for the restoration. So, there you have it. And let's just back up here and take a look at the old restaurant. Of course, there's a lot of original cobblestone streets here. As I may have mentioned before, the sidewalks here are all stone anyway, but those are fairly new, like you can see here on my right. Sort of a newish sidewalk, but this kind of cobblestone is much older now as we get into the street. And again, the restaurant with the other side of the patio. The wall just goes right through the place, through the patio. (1621). So, I mean, anything that old in the U.S., well, there really isn't. Maybe some Spanish missions or something like that, but in New England, where, you know, they settled Plymouth in 1620, there just isn't anything like this in the U.S. But obviously restored. But cool looking with the old gas lamp lights and wooden shutters. And it seems to be more of a place where I'll see gatherings, groups, tour groups dining. And now we're on the back side of the wall. If there is a front and a back, I'm on the other side from where I started. Comes the 1 o'clock church bell. That was brief. One ring. And now there's a little entrance to the churchyard. And let's just check this out. Very small. Some of these typical iron crosses, though, these are quite nice with their gold leaf. Just to see, get a little context here, the back of the church. So these are often the priests or the ministers, if you will, but really nice gold, probably gold leaf on there. Heinz is the last name, 1855. August Walter Thomas. Looks like 1880s, 1900. I got to try to get around on that. That's got some beautiful gold. And then these sort of more humble ones over here. Christ is risen, Christ is alive. Johann Friedrich Wilhelm Arndt, 1802 in the center. And another Arndt von Perch. Saw some von Perches in another cemetery. But yeah, just look at that little gold relief. Another one of this angel with the book. The shaking hands, symbol I see a lot at the top here. And there's some stuff along the wall as well. There's this little crypt here. I love these carvings. This lion head draped over the stone. SVP. Friedrichus Wilhelmus Astosch. Something about religion. 1648 to 1704. This looks like Latin, not German. Herrn Johann Wilhelm Scheiss, 1844. I mean, this is really scripty over here. 1657 to I don't know what, damaged. Johann Daniel Schmidtmann. Some interesting angels up top. And this is in German, but very scripty, very hand-carved looking, 1728. So very small churchyard, much different than a cemetery, you know, just a handful of graves. Another iron cross with shaking hands. Interesting symbol at the base here. This is a 1770 cross. And I guess maybe that's a flaming heart. It looks like a strawberry with an anchor. But probably a flaming heart is my guess. Sacred Heart. Friedrich August Schultz, 1888. And wife Charlotte. You can see here now how close I am to the restaurant in the background. Okay. And this large stone urn with some Roman numerals, looks like 1781 on the death date for Fräulein Charlotte Louise von Ankersheim. And very interesting script on this one. And Jakob Plisner, maybe? Not sure what that first letter is. It looks like an F or a P. But very interesting patina on there. And some of these are just really worn and old. And Christian, not sure. Here's some beautiful gold detail on this one with a different kind of angel. This is from 1859. And I take the ivy for granted because it's in so many places, but the ivy over the grave itself is always kind of beautiful. A bit of an obelisk here. Let's see what this is. Johann Wilhelm Moser, 1881. And that's going to do it for this place. I'm here at the Dorfkirche, which is a village church in Reinickendorf, really Alt Reinickendorf. Alt means old. You see that a lot in Germany. The old town, Alt Reinickendorf, Alt Tegel. It's not alternative, it's just old. A lot of old towns. So this is an old church, and part of the reason I'm doing this right now, it's 5 of 12, and the bells are going to go off in 5 minutes, so we're going to get maximum bell ringing at noon. And the bell is the oldest verifiable part of the church, dated to 1491. On the bell itself is written, apparently. But as you can see, it's just a beautiful old stone building, obviously renovated, but we see this kind of patchwork of mortar, brick, stone of various sizes, and then this renovated clay tile roof, and the bell tower itself, which even though the bell is old, the bell tower apparently wasn't built until the 1800s. So it used to be kind of like in a freestanding tower next to it. But the other thing I like about this church is the script that runs along the base of the roof here, I guess under the eaves. All in German, of course. And I've even looked it up online. I can't find translations or anything referencing it, what it says, but it's pretty cool looking. And it's in just this little kind of park here. Pretty close to an S-Bahn line. Cobblestone streets, as you can hear from the vehicles going by. And there's even some, reasonably old buildings around it. Which, in Berlin can be a little rare. And there's also a churchyard, of course, so I'm just going to check that out. It looks like it might just be the graves of some priests. And it's just these 3 iron crosses. That one's really tough to read. And hopefully there's not going to be a lot of noise from construction vehicles and whatnot when the bells are going off, which will be in just a few minutes here. It can get noisy around here for sure. It's a city, even though this is a somewhat isolated section. So 1797 to 1869 for Gottfried Ludwig Rurlau and Anna Sophie Kurlau, maybe? I can't read that first letter. Could be a K. 1797 to 1861. So nice little graves, little garden of flowers. And again, you can see this script along the eaves. And the tower itself has a weather vane up there. This is definitely a Protestant church, even though the bell predates the Protestant Reformation. Not really sure what that symbol is. Got a kind of a star and what looks like a banner or a flag. It's definitely not a cross though, so it's always been a Protestant church, even though they may have had other intentions when they built it. I'm just going to hop out here in the field for the bell ringing. So a 15th century bell, pretty old. And obviously it's all automated now because I don't think there's anybody in that church right now. It is a practicing congregation. But during the week, it seems to be pretty empty. It's somewhat different times on that clock tower, so this could be any time in the next few minutes. But as you can hear, it's one of the problems with cobblestone is it's loud. You know, there's just a few cars going by here at relatively slow speed, and it's pretty noisy. Like you want just, you know, the peace of this churchyard, and to hear the 500 plus year old bell and I've got to listen to tires. So what can you do? I can hear other bells ringing from a distance. Yeah, this one has somewhat mismatched clocks. The clock on the left is like a minute behind, and maybe it goes by that because it's already past noon on the front clock. Sirens now. That single striking bell. Ask not for whom it tolls. Sounds pretty good. I've got grave concerns out here at Schloss Park Tegel, where I'm watching a lawn cutting robot trim the grass. Just sort of stumbled upon that. That thing looks self-regulating like a Roomba. Never seen one of those before, honestly. And I gotta say, it was a bit of work to find this place. I don't even know how open it is. It seems to be open, but it's like there were no signs, and I don't know. It wasn't very inviting. In any case, there's the Schloss, or the palace. And I'm just on the trail here in the middle of the week, so it's quiet. And I really don't know what I'm about to find. In any event, here we go, down the trail. I thought it would be kind of, just a little more formally marked. But I don't know, I'm just kind of hurled into it, and there's no great instruction or signage. And it's looking pretty overgrown, once again. Not trimming the grass is the new feature here, in the name of environmentalism. But also I think it's because lack of funding in general for things. So as it is on the main landscape there, you saw that they've hired a robot. Look at this tree. This is pretty cool here. I don't know what they got going on, some kind of internal ladder system. That's a giant tree. In fact, there is on the map a tree marked in particular. I gotta just check my settings here. My camera seems to keep getting fixated. Make sure I get the right setting. Yeah, so there's a tree, I want to say, I can't remember the name in German, but it translates to something like Fat Marie. It's just a big, wide tree, kind of like that one I just passed, although I've seen pictures of it and it looks more dead. than that one. So these are pretty nice grounds, and actually I can see the trees across the way are fairly uniform in size and shape. So there's some kind of a deliberate landscaping here. Old though, because it's pretty overgrown. So I want to say, I'm not sure if it's this area or where we're walking out to, that this was landscaped by Humboldt's teacher or tutor, this design, but I'm not really feeling much of a design here, so I'm thinking it's going to get a little more landscaped as we go. But apparently it was based on Pompeii somehow, a Pompeian aesthetic, or somewhat based on the layout of the town. I guess I'll get a sense of it when I get there, because I have been to Pompeii, and if it seems familiar to that, then I'll know. But yeah, as you can see, this is just a nature park, and at the end of it are the graves of the Humboldt family, in particular Alexander von Humboldt, who's the founder of Humboldt University, the main university in Berlin, along with Schleiermacher, whose grave I visited earlier, who was a theologian, Protestant theologian. Humboldt himself, I don't know too much about him. I think the main thing besides the University of Berlin is that he was a naturalist, a biologist, and his name shows up at the Natural History Museum a lot. And I'm not sure, what he discovered in particular or what, but one could easily look that up. He's a famous person. And his grave is here, along with his family. But I've never been here before, obviously. I actually spent a bit of time walking through the neighborhood looking for the entrance, and finally I ended up on a private way, street marked as a private way, but I think that was the main entrance. It's just really weird to me that there were no signs for this park in town, nothing in particular pointing the way. So what can you do? But it's not far from the center of Tegel, which, Tegel is where the old airport used to be. And I want to say it's been 3 years or so since the new airport opened. Otherwise, there's just an alt Tegel, like an old Tegel. And I just kind of took the S-Bahn up to it and walked over. It wasn't far, but some signage would have helped. I'm not sure that I came in the right way. In any event, I feel like I'm coming to the end here. I think I see the graves up ahead, which is a little disappointing because that was not much in the way of landscaping. Let's see what we got up here. This is a remote grave, I gotta say. This is a bit of ways to come just to see a family plot. But that's what it is, if you want to see it. Okay, so I'm seeing this landscaping here a bit more, and I'm guessing this is more the Pompeian inspiration here, but it's not much. It's just a damn rectangle. So, I don't know. Maybe it used to be more interesting back in the day, and they've kind of flattened it out. But you can start to see some of this stone pillar here in the distance emerging. Otherwise, this just looks like a big nature park to walk around. Let's see what we got. Okay, so big center column here, Caroline Friedrich von Humboldt. And the years are in Roman numerals, so 1766 to, well, there's a couple of different dates here. I think that says age 26. I don't know. Then it says something about 1829. But kind of a cool statue on the top. And then we've got all the grades. I think I'm seeing the Humboldt here in front of me at the end. It says Alexander von Humboldt, 1859. But you never know. It's possible that's another Alexander. Let me just look through here. No, I'm not seeing any. So that must have been it. So otherwise, there's quite a few. Interesting. There's von Bülow's down here in the front row. In this family plot. So just to head back to Alexander, so you can see this sort of bright one on the right. It says Marie Agnes von Heinz, and then to the left of that is Alexander von Humboldt. 1869 to 1859? No, 1769 to 1859. Okay, that's 90 years old. If I've got the dates right there. 1769 to 1859. Yeah, that would be 90. Well, it could be. And that is about it. Let me just turn around slowly so you can see the place and see this illustrious Pompeian design, which just looks like, again, a rectangle to me. And in the distance, we can see the house where I just walked from. So let's just see. Let me lower that a bit so the light adjusts. Okay, there we go. It's a little better. And even these hedges need trimming, but it is early. It's only June, early June, so I'm sure this place gets visited a lot more in the summer. But it's not high on the list of destinations, so I mean, I've been coming here for 15 years and I've never been out here. But let's just see here. I'm kind of curious to the left there where those trees were a little more straight. If there's a bit more landscaping out there, if I'm just getting shuttled out to the woods here. But that Fat Marie tree is going to be another half a kilometer to the west. And I don't really think it's worth it. It's just a big, wide, dead tree. Really worth going out for. So that would be down there somewhere. And yeah, I like woods, walking in the woods. But I don't know that I need to record all that. I just want to turn around here and show you. And actually, I guess I'll go up this way. This does look, you know, a little more landscape than the way I walked in. I hear bees buzzing, so there might be some beehives somewhere. All right, getting louder. I don't know if you're picking that up. Okay, looks like some kind of farm field to the right. I see a little barbed wire and just some like a field of wheat. Aha, and there are beehives to my left. Let's just take a look at that. Okay, too close. Let's see. Oh yeah, they're buzzing all around. More in front. I'm kind of in the back here. Just to get a little closer so you can hear. So yeah, now I'm in this corridor of kind of straight trees. Oop. Beautiful green glow under these leaves. It's another overcast day, but it's bright enough and it really looks nice under this canopy. I think if I lived here, I would kind of do some laps around this little forest. It's pretty cool. And it's nice to see some natural old growth trees. They've got a lot of forests here in Berlin that are obviously planted by humans. Especially when you drive along the highway, you see all of these pine forests with just perfectly straight trees. Not very attractive. Smells good too. Smells like a hay farm. Some wildflowers in the air. Just a nice earthy smell out here. A walk in the Berlin woods. Oh my gosh, look at these cows. Beautiful. Farmer Schultz over here. Nice. The house had some interesting details on it. Almost looked like astrological symbols and signs up top. We'll get a glance at that on the way out here, because I'm almost back. And I'm seeing that really wide tree. It almost makes me think that's the tree that they're talking about. You can see it in the distance there in the field. The one I had pointed out when we walked by with all the ladders. It really is a wide tree and definitely stands out. But on the map, the one that was mentioned was west of the graves, so I don't think that's it. I think it's just similar. But I'm sure you agree that the colors here are just beautiful. It's just a beautiful yellow-green glow on this trail. And these little petals on the ground don't hurt. I don't know if these are linden trees. Here we get another look at that big fat tree. Ooh. The cows are snorting out there. Don't tell me there's a chain over here. You're kidding me. I can't make a 360 on this thing. I gotta go back the way I came. That's ridiculous. I guess we're gonna go out to the tree. It says private way, sure enough. Verboten. Durchgang verboten. Well, that sucks. Ridiculous. Okay, that's fine though. I don't have to do a 360. We can come out here to the field and get a closer look at this tree. Or, I don't know, let's see. This is about as close as you get. It's all kind of wired off here. It's not barbed wire, but it is wire. Doesn't look too friendly. So, to the left is the grave site. We can see in the distance, maybe you can see it, I don't know. It's awfully dark on my camera. Let me just lower that because there's so much sky. So in the distance is the column and the grave site. Some really nice purple flowers out here. The bees are harvesting. Back on the trail I came in on. I'm beginning to see why there were no signs for this place, because it's not that spectacular, and I wonder if they even have tours of the so-called palace. So not very publicly minded or very aggressive about inviting people here to learn about Humboldt. I want to say I did look it up on Google and saw some limited hours, but the park obviously is open as I've just gone through it, but the building, another story. So coming up on that building, the Schloss, there's a lot of Schlosses around here, Charlottenburg Schloss and Köpenick Schloss. There's a new Schloss in Mitte in downtown that they call the Humboldt Forum. All private. So, probably can't see too much there. But at the top are these reliefs or sculptures. So I'm a little bit more on the other side. Looks like it's Greek lettering up there. Let's take a look. Looks pretty quiet in there, pretty dark. So it says Boreas. Boreas. And on the other side, Skilun. Again, let me take this down so it's not so bright. There you go. Now that. I don't know if these are like the four winds. There are a couple more over here. Kaikius, K-A-I-K-I. That looks like a lambda. Kaikils, sigma at the end, right? Or those look like lambdas. K-L-I-K-I-L-S. Another one up here, also hard for me to read. Usually I can read these better. So alpha, maybe those are alphas. Alpha, gamma. The H, this might be a nu. An L. Huh. An omega, a tau, sigma. Agolitis. I'll have to look it up.